practice the profound Prajnaparamita addressed in this way. Noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, said to Venerable Shariputra, O Shariputra, a son or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita should see in this way, seeing the five skandhas to be empty of nature. Form is emptiness, emptiness also is form. Emptiness is no other than form, form is no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness are emptiness. Thus, Shariputra, all dharmas are emptiness. There are no characteristics, there is no birth and no cessation. There is no impurity and no purity. There is no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no dharmas, no eye, dhatu, hatu, no mind, dhatu, no dhatu of dharmas, no mind consciousness, dhatu, no ignorance, no end of ignorance, dhatu, no old age and death, no end of old age and death, no suffering, no origin of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since the Bodhisattvas have no attainment, they abide by means of Prajnaparamita. Since there is no obscuration of mind, there is no fear, they transcend falsity and attain complete nirvana. All the Buddhas of the 3 times by means of Prajnaparamita, fully awakened to unsurpassable true complete enlightenment. Therefore, the great mantra of Prajnaparamita, the mantra of great insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra that calms all suffering, should be known as truth. Since there is no deception, the Prajnaparamita mantra is said in this way. Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisvaha. Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisvaha. Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisvaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound Prajnaparamita. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, thus it is, O son of noble family, thus it
कार्यावलोकितेश्वर बोधिसत्त्वो गम्भीराया प्रज्ञा पारमितायां चरयां चरमाणो व्यवलोकयति स्म पञ्चस्कन्धाः तांश्च स्वभावं शून्यात् पश्यति स्म इह शारिपुत्ररूपं शून्यता शून्यतैव रूपं रूपान्न पृथक् शून्यता शून्यताया न पृथक् रूपं यद्रूपं सा शून्यता या शून्यता तद्रूपम् एकमेव वेदना संज्ञा संस्कारा विज्ञानानि च शून्यता इहं शारिपुत्र सर्वधर्माः शून्यता लक्षणा अनुत्पन्ना अनिरुद्धा अमला न विमला अनोना न परिपूर्णाः तस्मात् शारिपुत्र शून्यताया न रूपं न वेदना न संज्ञा न संस्काराः न विज्ञानानि न चक्षुः श्रोत्रघ्राणजिह्वकायमानांसि न रूपशब्द गन्धरसस्पृष्टव्यधर्माः न चक्षुर्धातुर्यावन्न मनो धातुः न विद्या न विद्या न विद्याक्षयो न विद्याक्षयो यावन्न जरामरणं न जरामरणाक्षयो न दुःखसमुदय निरोधमार्गा न ज्ञानं न प्राप्ति न प्राप्ति तस्मात् शारिपुत्र अत्रातित्वादबोधिसत्त्वस्य प्रज्ञापारमितामाश्रित्य विहरति चित्तावरणः चित्तावरणनास्तित्वादत्रस्तो विपर्यासातिक्रान्तो निष्ठनिर्वाणः प्राप्तः गते गते पारगते पारसंगते बोधिस्वाहा गते गते पारगते पारसंगते बोधिस्वाहा गते गते पारगते पारसंगते बोधिस्वाहा गते गते पारगते पारसंगते बोधिस्वाहा
Thus have I heard once the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha at Vulture Peak Mountain together with a great gathering of the Sangha. bodhisattvas. At that time the Blessed One entered the samadhi that expresses the Dharma called profound illumination, and at the same time noble Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva mahasattva, while practicing the profound prajna paramita, saw in this way. He saw the five skandhas to be empty of nature, and through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to noble Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva mahasattva, how should a son or daughter of noble family train who wishes to practice the profound prajna paramita addressed in this way? Noble Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva mahasattva said to Venerable Shariputra, O Shariputra, a son or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound prajna paramita should see in this way, seeing the five skandhas to be empty of nature. Form is emptiness, emptiness also is form. Emptiness is no other than form, form is no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness are emptiness. Thus, Shariputra, all dharmas are emptiness. There are no characteristics, there is no birth and no cessation. There is no impurity and no purity. There is no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no dharmas, no eye, dhatu, up to, no mind, dhatu, no dhatu of dharmas, no mind, consciousness, dhatu, no ignorance, no end of ignorance, up to no old age and death, no end of old age and death, no suffering, no origin of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since the bodhisattvas have no attainment, they abide by means of prajna paramita. Since there is no obscuration of mind, there is no fear, they transcend falsity and attain complete nirvana. All the Buddhas of the 3 times by means of prajna paramita fully awakened to unsurpassable true complete enlightenment. Therefore, the great mantra of prajna paramita, the mantra of great insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra that comes all suffering should be known as truth. Since there is no deception, the prajna paramita mantra is said in this way. Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Shariputra, the bodhisattva mahasattva, should train in the profound prajna paramita. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised noble Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva mahasattva.
अलोकितेश्वर बोधिसत्त्वो गम्भीराया प्रज्ञा पारमितायां चरयां चरमाणो व्यवलोकयति स्म पञ्चस्कन्धाः तांश्च स्वभावं शून्यात् पश्यति स्म इह शारिपुत्ररूपं शून्यता शून्यतैव रूपं रूपान्न पृथक् शून्यता शून्यताया न पृथक् रूपं यद्रूपं सा शून्यता या शून्यता तद्रूपम् एकमेव वेदना संज्ञा संस्कारा विज्ञानानि च शून्यता इहं शारिपुत्र सर्वधर्माः शून्यता लक्षणा अनुत्पन्ना अनिरुद्धा अमला न विमला अनोना न परिपूर्णा तस्मात् शारिपुत्र शून्यताया न रूपं न वेदना न संज्ञा न संस्काराः न विज्ञानानि न चक्षुः श्रोत्रघ्राणजिह्वकायमानांसि न रूपशब्द गन्धारसस्पृष्टव्यधर्माः न चक्षुर्धातुर्यावन्न मनो धातुः न विद्या न विद्याक्षयो न विद्याक्षयो यावन्न जरामरणं न जरामरणाक्षयो न दुःखसमुदय निरोधमार्गा न ज्ञानं न प्राप्ति न प्राप्ति तस्मात् शारिपुत्र अत्रातित्वादबोधिसत्त्वस्य प्रज्ञापारमितामाश्रित्य विहरति चित्तावरणः चित्तावरणनास्तित्वादत्रस्तो विपर्यासातिक्रान्तो निष्ठनिर्वाणः प्राप्तः गते गते पारगते पारसंगते बोधिस्वाहा गते गते पारगते पारसंगते बोधिस्वाहा गते गते पारगते पारसंगते बोधिस्वाहा गते गते पारगते पारसंगते बोधिस्वाहा
Thus have I heard once the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha at Vulture Peak Mountain together with a great gathering of the Sangha of monks. monks and the great gathering of the Sangha of Bodhisattvas. At that time the Blessed One entered the Samadhi that expresses the Dharma called profound illumination, and at the same time noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, while practicing the profound Prajnaparamita, saw in this way. He saw the five skandhas to be empty of nature, and through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, how should a son or daughter of noble family train who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita, addressed in this way? Noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva said to Venerable Shariputra, O Shariputra, a son or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita should see in this way, seeing the five skandhas to be empty of nature. Form is emptiness, emptiness also is form. Emptiness is no other than form, form is no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness are emptiness. Thus, Shariputra, all dharmas are emptiness. There are no characteristics, there is no birth and no cessation. There is no impurity and no purity. There is no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no dharmas, no eye, dhatu, up to, no mind, dhatu, no dhatu of dharmas, no mind consciousness, dhatu, no ignorance, no end of ignorance, up to no old age and death, no end of old age and death, no suffering, no origin of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since the Bodhisattvas have no attainment, they abide by means of Prajnaparamita. Since there is no obscuration of mind, there is no fear, they transcend falsity and attain complete nirvana. All the Buddhas of the three times by means of Prajnaparamita fully awakened to unsurpassable true complete enlightenment. Therefore the great mantra of Prajnaparamita, the mantra of great insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra that calms all suffering, should be known as truth, since there is no deception. The Prajnaparamita mantra is said in this way.
Or switch it to silent mode or plane mode. And please do not take photos, video or audio recordings during the lecture. So let's wait for Rinpoche to come with mindfulness and patience.
喺嗰個領頭係。
Testing. Please sit down. 請坐。Up to you. Whenever. Yeah, this is good.
Good evening, everyone. Dear Venerables, ladies and gentlemen, students, staff, and teachers of the Center of Buddhist Studies at the University of Hong Kong, I'm very honored today to introduce to you Dzongsar Khyentse Rinpoche. Khyentse Norbu Rinpoche was born in Bhutan in 1961 and received empowerments and teachings from many of the greatest Tibetan Buddhist masters of his time, such as the 16th Karmapa, Dudjom Rinpoche, and Dilgo Genshe Rinpoche, who was also his root teacher. Having received traditional Buddhist training for many years, Rinpoche began teaching around the world, establishing Dharma centers, and offering his generous support to 5 monastic colleges in India, Bhutan, and Eastern Tibet. He is also the founder of the Khyentse Foundation, dedicated to accommodating all traditions of Buddhism, institutionally, and supporting individual students, practitioners, and translators. He is also the founder of the Kumarajiva project, whose aim is to complete the translation of those texts in the Tibetan Buddhist canon into Chinese, and of an equally monumental project known as 84,000, a global, non-profit initiative to translate into English the Kangyur, the words of the Buddha as preserved in the Tibetan Buddhist canon. This project is of great benefit to the academic community in making accessible, accurate, and erudite English translations of the vast resources of the Tibetan Buddhist canon. Last but not least, Rinpoche's international activities include the Lotus Outreach, founded in 1993, whose mission is to empower vulnerable women and children living in poverty in 7 countries by providing innovative solutions in education, training, and healthcare. Khyentse Norbu is also a prolific author, a testimony to his commitment to promote non-sectarian education based on the wisdom tradition of Buddhism. His latest work, Poison is Medicine, was a timely addition to his readership, where he addressed misunderstandings and misapprehensions concerning the soteriological depth and importance of Vajrayana Buddhism, using a language that is direct, fresh, and accessible to a wider audience. Many of us know Rinpoche also from his cinematic career, featuring 6 films in total to date, the most recent being one of my favorites, titled Looking for a Lady with Fangs and a Mustache. This later production, filmed in the Kathmandu Valley, it is not just entertaining and captivating in its narrative unfolding, but a brilliant treatment on the esoteric subject of the Dakinis and their variable roles in Tibetan Buddhist literature and culture. It is a great honor to have Khyentse Norbu with us again at the University of Hong Kong in an event co-organized with by the Khyentse Foundation and the Center of Buddhist Studies. I believe that I speak for everyone here today when I say that we are grateful that you could join us and very much look forward to hearing your talk on a subject that is undeniably at the heart of Buddhism. Dhyāna, or meditation, is the application of the Buddha's teachings. It marks the beginning, middle, and heralds the end of a personal journey from a state of ignorance to a state of non-meditation. Gom translates Dhyāna in Tibetan, and it has a range of meanings, such as habituation, contemplation, spiritual development, reflection, cultivation, attention, and even creative imagination. Listening to the Buddhist teachings is conducive to meditation. And so, without further ado, please join me in giving our warmest welcome to Rinpoche.
Thank you so much for the very generous and slightly exaggerated introductions.
多謝你嘅好客氣同埋有少少誇張嘅一個簡介。
Also, very honored to be here in this learning center.
好高興咧喺呢一個嘅研究中心嚟到同你哋研討。
And I was told that the audience is very mixed from the very beginning, beginners to very established students and practitioners. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge for me.
我聽到咧就話今日嚟嘅聽眾咧有啲真係好新嘅，但係咧亦都有啲咧就係好有學問同埋咧有修行嘅人嚟嘅，咁所以咧今晚咧對我嚟講係一個挑戰啊。
I'm hoping that this will become some sort of a discussion rather than me taking up all the time talking.
我聽到咧就係話今日咧會係比較會有比較多啲嘅討論，而唔係話淨係得我一個人喺度講嘢嘅。
Well, to begin with, I'd like to talk about terms because that's somewhat important.
一開始咧，或者我哋講幾個名相嘅名詞，因為呢個亦都係相當重要。
I guess philology, language is one of the sort of the driving force of culture, and therefore how human beings think and how we manifest is so much to do with language.
因為語言咧，佢係一個文化嘅一個推動嘅力量嚟嘅。我哋人類諗嘢同埋點樣去顯現咧，係同呢個語言好有關係。
For instance, like Buddhism or Buddhist, this is quite a new term.
好似佛教或者係佛教徒咧，呢兩個都係比較新嘅一個詞嚟嘅。
I don't think it exists in the sutras and the shastras.
我相信咧喺呢啲佛教嘅傳統經論裏邊咧都冇咁樣嘅呢兩個詞。
Is Buddha Buddhist? I don't think so.
咁佛陀係咪佛教徒咧？我相信唔係啦。
more likely Buddhism, the term English word Buddhism, may have been invented by Europeans.
咁我相信咧，就英文嗰個佛教徒呢個字咧，我相信係由嗰啲歐洲人所創造出嚟嘅。
So I'm sure a lot of the academics here can really dig into this.
我相信呢度有好多學者咧都可以詳細啲研究下呢樣嘢。
I'm mentioning this because somehow Buddhism now is categorized into religion.
點解我提呢一樣嘢咧？因為而家咧好多人認為佛教係屬於宗教呢一個咁樣嘅歸類。
That to a Buddhist, let's see, I'm now considering myself as a Buddhist. So for a Buddhist, it's a bit like computer science or physics being categorized as a religion.
對於一個佛教徒嚟講，好似我都覺得自己係一個佛教徒。咁咧即係咁樣嘅諗法咧，就好似係嗰啲電腦科學俾人歸類為呢個宗教咁樣。
In the past, ancient India, the seeking for truth, the universal truth, is a very, very important. I guess it's still now.
喺古印度咧，追尋呢個真相，即係宇宙嘅真相咧，係非常重要嘅。而家亦都係。
And so-called Buddhist, Jain, I don't know, Nyayas, these Indian philosophers, logicians, they were basically looking for truth.
咁好似嗰啲古代嗰啲嘅邏輯學家咧，佢哋所要做嘅乜嘢咧，就係佢哋要尋求呢個真相實相。
Today, we are using a term Dhyana.
今日我哋所講嘅題目咧就係禪定。
Now, this is, I think, one very important term, as Professor was mentioning earlier. But this is so difficult to interpret and translate.
正如教授頭先所講咁樣咧，呢個係一個非常之重要嘅一個課題，但係咧亦都係好難去呢個字咧禪定咧Dhyana咧，亦都係好難去到翻譯嘅。
Dhyana, I believe, is what is sort of metamorphized, or the term Dhyana became Chan in Chinese.
Dhyana 呢個字咧喺中國咧就我哋翻譯做禪，所以禪定。
And I guess the Zen in Japan.
禪宗亦都係去到日本啦。
Now, Dhyana, Chan, Zen, these are all means. It's actually not the end.
禪定咧係一個手段嚟嘅，佢唔係我哋嘅目的。
So actually, even though Dhyana is very, very important, in itself is secondary important.
咁所以咧，雖然我哋話禪定係非常之重要，但係佢個本質咧只係第二線嘅。
Because it's just a means, it's not the end.
因為佢係手段而唔係目的。
I'm bringing this I'm emphasizing this a little bit because mindfulness, meditation, this has become sort of fashionable now.
我點解要帶出呢樣嘢或者強調呢樣嘢呢？因為喺現時呢，呢個正念嘅修行或者正念嘅禪定呢，係非常之成為一個潮流。
But I think it is important to remember that actually meditation or mindfulness or dhyana, they are just method, they are means.
我想強調呢，嗰個禪修、禪定或者係正念呢，佢哋全部都係手段嚟嘅，而唔係目的嚟嘅。
So if I'm having a coffee here, the cup is the means.
譬如講，我而家飲杯咖啡啦，咁個杯呢就係我嗰個手段。
I can have it in a porcelain cup, I can have it on a paper cup, depending on different situations.
我可以用紙杯或者用瓷杯，而視乎嗰個情況而唔用唔同嘅嘢。
If I'm traveling, probably porcelain, cup is not a good idea.
譬如如果我係喺旅行之中呢，如果用瓷杯就冇咁方便啦。
So what's happening at times is we put so much emphasis on the cup. Nobody is talking about the coffee.
有陣時咧，我哋有太多嘅討論係關於個杯，而唔係討論個咖啡本身。
From a 5-star resort or some weekend retreats, yoga retreats, mindfulness retreats, anywhere, people put more emphasis on the means.
而家咧有好多嗰啲嘅5星級嘅嗰啲嘅度假村舉辦一啲瑜伽嘅退休營啦，咁嗰啲正念嘅退休營，佢哋咧即係強調咗呢個手段啫。
So I like to sort of take this opportunity this evening to really just remind ourselves that the end or the contents, what's in the cup, is actually more important than the cup.
今晚咧，我想特別強調呢嗰個目的，我哋嘅目的，即係話喺個杯裏邊嗰啲嘢係更加重要嘅。
Is if you have that clearly, then the dhyana, the mindfulness, the training, the application has some sort of aim.
如果你能夠清晰咁認識呢一點呢，我哋所有嗰啲禪定啊或者正念啊等等嘅訓練呢，佢就有一個嘅目標啦。
Now this is kind of important, but this is really difficult to grasp.
呢樣係非常重要嘅，但係亦都係比較難去真係去理解嘅。
Because I think when we talk about the end, we are talking about something so abstract usually.
因為我哋講到個目的咧，好多時候咧，我哋都係講緊啲好抽象嘅嘢。
But the means can be something tangible.
而嗰個手段咧，就係一啲我哋好容易喺掌握到，好容易去到做到嘅嘢嚟嘅。
Such as when the moment we talk about meditation, dhyana, we immediately, almost automatically think in terms of sitting straight.
譬如我哋一講到禪定咧，我哋即刻會諗到坐直個身。
And sitting straight has a lot of benefit.
坐直個身咧有好多好處嘅。
To begin with, it relaxes you.
首先咧，佢可以令你放鬆啦。
But is Buddhism really interested in relaxing ultimately?
但係佛教係唔係真正係最終嘅目的係令我哋能夠放鬆呢？
meditation also have this connotation of being peaceful and harmonious and calm and all that.
禪修啦，或者禪定咧，佢亦都令我哋會想到係和平啦、安寧啦等等。
But again, like the relaxation, being calm, peaceful, is not really the ultimate goal of Buddha Dharma.
同頭先講嘅放鬆一樣咧，呢啲所謂嘅平靜啊、安寧啊、和平啊，佢都唔係我哋嗰個修行或者佛教嘅最終嘅目的嚟嘅。
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that being calm, peaceful, unstirred is. I'm not saying that they are not important. They are very important.
嗱，我唔係話呢啲安靜啊、和平啊呢啲嘢係唔重要，其實佢哋係重要嘅。
If you want to see a clear and pristine water that is filled with mud, like not stirring the water is important initially.
如果我哋想喺一個充滿泥濘嘅水池裏邊係見到清晰嘅水咧，首先咧我哋就要唔好去攪動嗰啲水，等佢嗰啲泥咧係沉澱落嚟。
But just not stirring and letting it be may help settle all the mud beneath. But mud is always there. Any time it can erupt.
我哋如果唔攪動嗰啲泥，由得佢沉澱咧，我哋係可以令到佢能夠沉澱落嚟。咁但係咧，雖然佢沉澱咗，但係嗰啲泥仍然係喺度嘅，佢隨時都會可以攪動起嚟嘅。
This is why the characteristic of Dhyana or the contemplation in the Buddha Dharma always have this two aspects, the peace, calming, kind of abiding shamatha, and seeing the insight, the truth, the vipassana.
所以咧，我哋講禪定咧，佢係有兩個面向嘅。第一個咧就係好寧靜就係好和平、好寧靜嘅安住。咁第二個面向咧就係能夠睇到個真相，能夠睇到嗰個實相。
Okay, so let's just sort of, explore this a little bit more. This Dhyana in the context of shamatha and the vipassana.
咁我哋或者可以咧，就係用呢兩個面向，即係止同埋觀嚟到去探索下呢個嘅禪定。
And let's try to sort of reflect these based on what's happening within our life currently.
咁我哋可以用我哋自己嘅生活嚟到睇下。
In our life, we have so many anxiety, and I'm talking about myself, by the way.
喺我哋嘅生活裏邊咧，我哋有好多嘅焦慮。我而家係講緊我自己。
And we have such a good reason to be anxious.
我哋有好多好個理由咧，點解我哋會咁焦慮呢？
There's so much things to worry about, and they are all valid, actually.
我哋有好多嘅原因要令我哋焦慮，而呢啲原因咧，全部都係好合情合理嘅。
Will our dream come true?
我哋嘅夢想能唔能夠成真呢？
Will others like me? Will others like us?
別人會唔會喜歡自己呢？
Whether people we care be okay?
我所關懷嘅人，佢會唔會好好呢？
Will we be humiliated?
我會唔會俾人奚落，俾人輕視呢？
And also, yeah, because we are so exposed, we are just like naked.
我哋好似一個冇着衫嘅人咁樣。
And many of these reasons are quite serious, and they are kind of unpredictable. This makes it even more, and this makes us even more anxious.
有好多嘅原因呢，其實呢，佢係有好多不確定性喺度，我哋控制唔到嘅，所以呢，呢個更加係令我哋係焦慮。
And the success and I don't know, good times comes a little bit, but the risk is almost permanently waiting somewhere.
有時呢，我哋會有得到一啲成就或者成功，咁但係呢，亦都嗰啲風險好似係無時不在嘅，時時都係喺度等緊。
And we are living in very crowded places.
我哋而家居住喺一個好人口好多嘅地方。
Our body, I don't know, everything about us is so fragile, like a dewdrop.
我哋好多嘅生活上好多嘅嘢呢，都係好脆弱嘅啫，就好似朝露咁樣。
Now, again, here, as you hear this, then you may think, here we go, the Buddhists, always pessimistic.
嗱，你聽到呢度咧，你可能覺得嗰啲佛教徒真係太悲觀啦。咁
The Buddhists are these harbinger, the bringer of the bad news to the world.
嗰啲佛教徒咧，都係成日都係即係帶嚟一啲即係唔好嘅壞消息嘅。
But this unpredictability and uncertainty also has a lot of good side.
但係呢啲嘅不確定性咧，不可預測嘅情況咧，亦都有佢好嘅一面嘅喎。
All the reasons to be anxious, we can use almost all the reasons as reasons to be happy and calm and blissful. 所
有嗰啲令你焦慮嘅原因咧，佢亦都可以轉成咧令你係快樂同埋平安同埋呢個安詳嘅。
But knowing the truth is fundamentally important because this is the only way we can counter our anxiety.
但係了解呢個實相真相咧，就係最重要嘅啦，因為佢係唯一能夠令到我哋能夠消除焦慮嘅東西。
For instance, in the modernized world, like today's world, there's so much loneliness.
喺現代咧，有好多人都感覺到呢個寂寞嘅。
And there's so much, alienation.
有好多人都感覺疏離。
And so much challenges in our world of relationship.
喺我哋嘅人際生活裏邊咧，有好多嘅挑戰。
And challenges in our with the world of parenting.
為人父母嘅會感受到好多嘅挑戰。
So, what relevance is there? This application called Dhyana.
咁嗰啲咁修禪定同我哋而家面對呢個社會呢個人生有啲乜嘢嘅關係呢？
Dhyana is a means to really understand the truth, which is the end, the result.
禪定咧就係一個工具，一個手段咧，係令到我哋能夠明白、了解真相、實相，而真相、實相咧就係嗰個目的啦。
Dhyana also makes you see your life and the world with a bird's eyes view.
禪定咧亦都令到我哋對於我哋嘅生活咧有一個鳥瞰，對我哋嘅世界、對我哋嘅生活咧有一個更加高嘅視覺嘅認識。
Right now, we are looking at our life from one angle, a small, narrow angle.
而家咧，我哋對我哋嘅生活咧或者生命咧，只係從一個好窄嘅角度去睇。
We are looking at our relationship, our health, our, I don't know, everything, our well-being from a very, very narrow angle.
我哋從一個好窄嘅視角咧，去睇我哋嗰啲嘅人際關係啊、健康啊、等等嘅嘢。
Dhyana that is taught by the Buddha is really to train ourselves to look at our life and the world with a big picture.
佛陀所教嘅禪定咧，係令我哋能夠得到訓練咧，去用一個更加遠大嘅視覺咧，去睇呢個生命生活。
Okay, so what is this truth that we are supposed to actualize?
咁我哋而家係需要去認知同埋呢個認證嘅呢個真相究竟係乜嘢呢？
Now this is really important for you to know that these truths are not designed by Buddha.
嗱，我哋好重要一樣嘢咧，就要了解咧，呢個所謂嘅真相咧，唔係由佛陀所設計嘅。
It's not okay. So, for instance, the moisture or the wetness of the water is the truth of the water.
譬如水係濕嘅，呢個就係水嘅實相嚟嘅。
Heat of a fire is the truth of the fire.
水嘅熱咧就係火嘅熱力咧就係火嘅真實相嚟嘅。
If you know that water is wet, then when you don't want to become wet, you know what to do.
你知道水係濕嘅，咁當然你唔想濕身嘅話咧，你就識得點樣做啦。
If you want to be warm or fry something or burn something, you know what to do when you see a fire because you know the truth.
咁如果你想係得到溫暖，你想係燒一啲嘢嘅時候咧，你見到火你就識得點樣做啦。
So basically, we are talking about such a fundamental, mundane, basic truth.
我哋而家講緊嗰啲咧係一個非常之基礎嘅、非常之生活世俗化嘅一啲嘅事實或者真相嚟嘅。
So how does Buddha see the truth?
咁而佛陀佢係點樣睇呢個真相嘅呢？
That Buddha or the teachings of the Buddha sees the world as constantly changing.
佛陀睇到我哋呢個世界咧係不斷咁樣改變嘅。
Actually, changing is probably not the right word. Uncertain.
改變或者唔係一個好好嘅用詞，我哋話佢係不確定嘅，冇呢個確定性嘅。
This truth is universal.
呢一個真相咧，佢係一個宇宙嘅真相嚟嘅。
This truth is not made by Buddha.
呢個真相唔係由佛陀所創造嘅。
The uncertainty or the impermanence of the world of the phenomena, this truth existed before the Buddha, and it still continues.
一切嘅現象都係無常咧，呢個真相咧，佢係佛出世之前已經係咁樣噶啦，而亦都繼續落去。
And this truth is probably the most evident for the lay people like us.
對於我哋呢啲嘅在家人嚟講咧，呢個咁樣嘅真相咧，亦都係好明顯嘅。
Even though it's actually the most evident, this is also maybe something that we miss all the time.
雖然佢係咁明顯啦，但係好多時候咧，我哋都會忘記佢或者錯失佢嘅。
Like for instance, ourselves, we think we are the same person that existed 20 years ago.
好似我哋自己咧，我哋好多人都覺得自己而家呢個我咧，同20年前嗰個我咧係一樣嘅。
Completely denying that it has changed all the time.
咁樣嘅諗法咧，係完全咁樣否定咗呢個我咧係不斷咁樣改變。
Okay, this truth at glance, as I said, probably the most easy or I don't know. It should be, logically or kind of obvious. It should be.
呢個真相咧，其實似乎係非常之容易理解，同埋亦都好有邏輯嘅。
But for many reasons, we just cannot grasp it.
但係有好多原因咧，令到我哋唔能夠好好咁樣去掌握佢。
Sometimes we do grasp it, but in a very, very twisted way.
有時我哋係能夠掌握佢，但係咧亦係用一啲係扭曲嘅方法。
For instance, we like to accept the change when we think in terms of improvement.
嗱，當我哋諗到有呢個改進或者去到一啲好嘅情況嘅時候咧，我哋就會接受改變啦。
So if you are not slender, or if you are a little bit bulky, we like to think that by going to a gym, we can make ourselves fit and slender and good looking. So when we think in this term, we accept the impermanence.
咁有啲人咧，佢係比較肥嘅，咁佢就當佢想瘦啲嘅時候咧，佢就會去做 gym 啦，去做 gym 咧就希望自己可以更加結實、更加瘦。咁呢一種改變佢係能夠接受喎。
But suddenly, if a doctor says you have a blood cancer or something, then it's like, how? It's not possible. You'll think like it's almost like unfair.
咁但係如果醫生話俾你聽，你有血癌咧，你就會話點可能咧？咁點會係咁樣啊？咁呢個好唔公平喎。
But this is actually very, very gross example, very, very obvious example. There are so many of these about our values.
咁呢啲咧都係一啲好粗淺、好顯明嘅一啲嘅例子。其實我哋有好多呢啲咁嘅例子，有啲就關於我哋嘅價值嘅觀念。
Our definitions.
我哋嘅定義。
What we believe and what we detest.
我哋所相信嘅嘢，或者我哋所唔喜歡嘅嘢。
All this keeps on changing.
所有呢啲嘢咧，全部都係不斷咁樣改變。
Some change quite very gradually. Others, overnight it can change.
有啲係漸漸咁變，有啲一夜之間就變咗。
This truth is this truth is one of the most fundamental truths that Buddha taught, sometimes known as anicca.
呢一個無常，呢一個真相呢，就係佛陀所教導嘅真相嘅其中一個嘅最主要嘅一個真相。
Now, Dhyana, coming back to Dhyana. Dhyana is meant to make you accept this truth and really be comfortable with it, live with it, glide with it. That is what Dhyana is for.
呢個禪定咧，呢個方法咧，就係如果你照住去修行嘅話咧，就令到你能夠接受到呢個真相，比較容易啲咁樣去接受到，同埋咧你同埋識得點樣去與呢個真相共存。
As long as what you do accentuate, brings this awareness of this truth, this is Dhyana.
你做乜嘢能夠帶到你去能夠認識到呢個真相呢？呢個就係禪定。
So basically what I'm saying is you could go to a temple, sit in front of a Buddha, shrine, and sit straight for an hour and think about impermanence. It could work.
你可以去到個寺廟裏邊，去到個佛壇前邊咧，去坐直1個鐘頭。咁呢個方法咧，可能會係得嘅。
You could also go to IFC and the Land Crawford shop. Land Crawford, right? Lane Crawford or something. Lane Crawford, yeah. 你可以去
IFC 或者去連卡佛公司。
And look at all those expensive goods.
你可以去睇嗰啲好昂貴嘅貨品。
And think that I may never use them. I may never have a chance to use them.
而你諗，我可能冇機會去用呢啲嘢嘅。
And this is, if you have that kind of
如果你有呢一種咁樣嘅
an hour of not just window shopping, even actually shopping, but at the same time awareness that this, I may never use this.
我可以去淨係呢個睇或者甚至你去買，但係咧你做呢樣嘢嗰陣時候咧，當你個心能夠諗到就係話，我可能冇機會用到呢啲嘢㗎啦，咁樣，咁呢個就係你嘅幫到你嘅方法嚟㗎啦。
Actually, it's Dhyana.
呢個實際上就係禪定。
Very much. We can call it a shopping Dhyana.
我哋可以話呢個係一個購物的禪定。
So this is why lot of the so-called mindfulness meditation that is kind of popular these days.
所以呢，而家好流行嘅呢個所謂嘅正念嘅禪定。
If they are not bringing the awareness of this truth, such as anicca,
如果佢哋呢種嘅做法呢，唔能夠帶到我哋去認識到或者認知到呢個真相嘅話，呢個真相係指無常。
And if your 1 hour mindfulness meditation is just to make you happy, relax, helps your stress, that kind of mindfulness is equal to any kind of materialistic sort of recreation, like fun. Like you can just go for a shopping, and sometimes shopping does help your depression. or you can have a pasta, and that also helps your depression. But then problem with these is there's always a post-shopping depression, post-pasta depression.
咁如果你咁樣去做一個鐘頭嘅所謂正念嘅正念嘅禪修，咁而你只係能夠俾你帶到令到你快樂啲，或者係放鬆啲，或者係冇咁大嘅壓力嘅話咧，咁呢啲咁嘅正念嘅禪修咧，同一啲好世俗嘅功利嘅一啲做法，好似譬如話去購物啊咁樣，其實係相差無幾嘅啫喎。因為有啲你購物之後咧，可能你都會覺得冇乜壓力嘅，消除咗壓力嘅喎，或者甚至於你去食意大利粉，亦都可能令你消除壓力嘅喎。但係咧，你亦都會有感受到一啲所謂嘅購物之後嘅壓力。
You know, like when you are going to one of those lavish dinner or rowdy parties, you can also bring this awareness that this may be the last time I'm doing this.
咁當你哋去一啲好豐盛嘅宴會或者去派對嗰陣時候咧，你亦都可以帶起呢個嘅覺知咧，就係話而家我做呢件事咧，可能係最後一次做噶啦。
Not necessarily somebody might die, but also our friendship. Today we talk to them as if they are the closest, as part of your heart. But tomorrow they become the sworn enemy. This happens all the time.
雖然我哋唔係話今日之後就會有人死啦咁樣，但係咧，就算係朋友之間嘅嗰種嘅友情咧，亦都會可以改變嘅。今日係朋友，可能明天咧就變咗敵人。
Okay, so this, as if you can really look into this, there is really nothing religious about it.
你可以話咧，即係咁樣嘅諗法咧，其實同呢個宗教係好似冇乜關係咁樣。
There's nothing mythical.
冇乜神秘。
Uncertainty, anicca, impermanence is not a myth.
無常、冇確定性等等呢啲嘢咧，其實我哋唔會話佢係好神秘嘅。
It is so raw and present and here and now. 佢係
活生生咁樣，係好明顯咁樣係存在於我哋嘅目前。
Okay, how is this going to help? Now think about this. How is this going to help with our modern day problems, such as loneliness, such as relationship, parenting, etc., etc.?
咁究竟呢啲嘢點樣可以幫助到我哋去處理解決我哋嘅生活咧？好似我哋生活裏邊有寂寞啊，有人際關係嘅問題啊，或者有點樣去養兒育女嘅問題啊。
If you really contemplate, if you look into our loneliness, the real cause of the loneliness, one of the biggest one, is not knowing the uncertainty.
但係如果我哋去深入啲咁樣去睇咧，我哋所謂嗰個呢個寂寞呢一個咁樣嘅問題咧，佢嘅真正嘅原因咧，就係我哋唔知道呢個無常。
One of the main causes is not knowing the uncertainty.
其中一個最主要嘅原因就係我哋唔知道呢個無常。
Yeah, and then with everything, like your just all our problems. If you look into this, there's just so much unreasonable, blind, completely, narrow angle view on something like really unreasonably expecting that is going to work, is going to be there all the time. So this just keeps the loneliness and the alienation bigger.
咁因為我哋呢啲咁好多個問題咧，好多個生活上或者 嘅難題啦。佢哋都係源於我哋有一啲嘅好唔理性嘅、好盲目嘅一種嘅諗法，一啲好狹隘嘅一種諗法，就係覺得咧，所有嘅呢啲嘅事物咧，佢哋應該將來都會喺度嘅嚇，將來即係就係話睇唔到佢可能會隨時係會改變或者消失。
Okay, just one more summary. Dhyana.
而家或者總結一下呢個嘅所謂禪定。
Usually, when we are lonely, when we are unhappy, when we are alienated, what do we do? Our main solution is we numb ourselves.
就係當我哋一般人咧，佢覺得唔快樂，覺得係好寂寞，或者係覺得好疏離嘅時候咧，我哋會點做咧？我哋就會令自己麻木。
Including Sichuan pepper and wasabi.
即係呢個包括嗰啲四川嗰啲麻辣嘅嘢，或者係嗰啲嘅wasabi 嗰啲日本嗰啲芥辣咧。
But I'm not only talking about that. Social media, it's really to numb yourself, to distract yourself, to get hooked to something. But then the problem is it makes it even worse.
而嗰啲嘅社交嗰啲嘅平台啦，咁佢其實咧佢亦都會令你麻木嘅，因為佢令你成日即係沉迷咗喺嗰度。咁但係咧，佢亦都會令到你呢個情況咧更加惡化。
Yeah. So online shopping, Amazon, all of this is basically a method to numb us.
所以嗰啲嘅網上購物 Amazon 啊嗰啲嘢咧，全部佢哋都係一啲方法咧嚟令到你麻木。
And that's where we are. This is what we do usually.
而我哋好多時候就係咁樣做。
Dhyana does the opposite.
而禪定咧，佢個啱啱就係相反啦。
Just face it.
佢令我哋面對現實。
Look into it.
去睇深入咁樣去睇。
Try to see the big picture.
睇到個大嘅嗰個視覺。
Try to see try to have the bird's eyes view.
一個鳥瞰嘅更加廣闊嘅視覺去睇事物。
So let's say you are lonely.
嗱，譬如你係覺得係寂寞啦。
You are lonely because you are only looking at something from your right side.
你覺得寂寞咧，因為你只係從右邊呢個角度去睇呢件事。
And the right vision is only limited.
而呢個右邊呢個視覺咧，只係好有限嘅。
So if you lose that, that's it. That's the end of the world.
如果你冇咗呢樣嘢咧，你覺得呢個就係世界就會係世界末日啦。
But suddenly, if you do the dhyana and look from the bird's eyes view, you see right, left, front, back. There's just no time to be lonely.
但係如果你係做呢個禪定啦，咁你係一個鳥瞰嘅角度去睇啦，你就可以睇到左右前後。咁其實你睇到咁多嘢咧，你根本上冇時間去寂寞啦。
So many options.
有好多個選擇俾你。
So many doors.
有好多個門。
At the same time, because of the bird's eyes view, you are also not blindly, following any of these options.
咁因為你有一個鳥瞰嘅視覺咧，所以你亦都唔會盲目咁樣去追尋其中嘅一種嘅做法，一種嘅選擇。
I'm trying to explain the word dhyana and vipassana, like seeing extra, seeing the real deal, so to speak.
我係嘗試係去解釋呢個禪定同埋呢個毗婆舍那，即係觀或者係睇到個真相。
Okay, let's go to the next truth.
嗱，咁我哋而家講下一個真相。
This truth, the anicca, the uncertainty, impermanence, that's quite obvious. So, we should be able to grasp this intellectually at least.
頭先講嘅無常咧，其實係相當之係明顯嘅，咁所以我哋咧亦都應該係好能夠比較容易咁去掌握。
The next one is a little difficult, I think.
下一個咧可能有少少困難。
The next one, according to the Buddha, he's saying that actually nothing gives us 100% satisfaction.
咁佛陀咧，佢話俾我哋聽咧，冇嘢咧係能夠俾到我哋100%嘅滿足嘅。
Whatever gives you the satisfaction always have its other side that gives you worry.
俾到我哋一啲滿足感嘅嘢咧，佢亦都有另一個面咧，另一面咧就係令到我哋會感覺到焦慮嘅。
You know, the ice cream is nice, but then how about the six-pack?
雪糕係好食啊，但係咧咁我啲腹肌點咧？
You know, all that it always has something with it.
永遠咧都係有啲唔好嘅地方嘅。
This, I think, I mean, if you contemplate on this, it should be really obvious.
如果你好好地咁樣去思考咧，你會即係覺得係呢個好容易明白嘅啫。
But I think it's slightly more challenging than the first truth.
但係可能咧比頭一個無常咧係比較難少少。
Because then, you know, like you can challenge it, like you can say things like, oh, how about poetry? How about artistic expression?
咁我哋可能會挑戰或者抗議咁，我哋話嗰啲詩歌啊或者係藝術又如何呢？
How about creativity?
或者係創作性啦。
And now, even more challenging is, how about the Buddhist practice?
咁更加有挑戰性嘅就係可以問我，咁嗰啲佛陀所教嗰啲嘅修行方法又如何呢？
How, you know, what I'm saying is the Buddha's path, the practice, the path is by nature a flaw. This is what I'm saying. So this is a little difficult to achieve by the Buddhists if you are Buddhist.
咁其實我係想講咧，就係佛陀或者佛法裏邊嗰啲嘅法道咧，佢嘅本質咧係佢有呢個一啲嘅唔完美嘅嘢喺度嘅。
Basically, what Buddha said is, if you want to be liberated, the last garbage or the trash you have to throw is Buddhism. This is what he's saying.
佛陀話咧，如果你係想得到最終嘅解脫咧，咁最後嗰個垃圾咧，你係要拋棄嘅就係佛教。
Maitreya Buddha, I mean Maitreya Bodhisattva right now, but the Buddha in the future, he said, like the boat, if you take a boat and reach the other shore, you abandon the boat, then hop into the shore. Otherwise, if you are still standing in the boat, you are not on the other shore.
咁彌勒佛咧，佢話咧，即係如果我哋要坐船去到對岸嘅話咧，咁我哋咧最終咧就要係離開個船，又上到岸。如果我哋永遠係即係坐喺架船裏邊咧，咁我哋係上唔到岸嘅。
Here, I like to just, since many of you are Chinese, I like to just remind you that you should really, because recently I was reading the Table Sutra or Platform Sutra by Master Hui Ning.
因為大家多數都係中國人啦，所以我提一提各位咧，即係因為我最近咧就係睇呢個六祖壇經啊，六祖壇經。
That is a priceless text.
呢個真係無價之寶嚟㗎。
If you want to know more about this second truth, it is there, very, very well explained.
如果你想關於呢個第二個真相啦， 係深入啲嘅理解呢，你可以睇六祖壇經嗰度講得非常之好。
The reason why basically nothing gives us the full satisfaction is there are few reasons why nothing gives us the full satisfaction. One obvious one is the first one, actually, the uncertainty. Because everything is uncertain, things are not never going to give you the 100% satisfaction.
嗰啲我哋冇第二個真相咧，就係冇嘢可以俾到我哋100%嘅滿足嘅。咁有咩理由咧？咁第一個理由咧就係因為無常啊，呢個好明顯啦。
The other reason, which is actually related to the third truth, but I should tell you now, is nothing is how it appears to be.
另外一個理由咧係同所謂第三個真相咧係好有關係嘅，但係我而家都講呢一個嘅理由就係話咧，所有你睇到嘅嘢咧，佢實際上並不是你所睇到咁樣嚟到存在嘅。
Because of that, nothing gives us the full satisfaction.
所以咧，冇嘢能夠俾到我哋100%嘅滿足。
Yeah. Again, in our mundane world, we tend to accentuate, like exaggerate the partial satisfaction that we have, and we try to sell that and convince ourselves that, it's a good thing to pursue.
咁喺我哋世俗生活裏邊咧，我哋係得到一啲嘅快樂，而我哋會誇大咗佢，令到自己相信咗呢個就係真係好嘅嘢嚟㗎啦。
Okay. Now the third truth, and then after that maybe we can begin some discussion.
咁跟住咧就係講第三個真相，然後咧我哋可以有啲討論。
Okay. Anyway, the second truth is many times is referred as the dukkha in Sanskrit or the Pali.
我哋頭先講過第二個真相咧，喺梵文或者巴利文裏邊就叫做 dukkha， 都係中文就譯做苦。
Again, this truth, as you can see, there's nothing mystical, nothing religious, nothing like some sort of a revelation here.
咁而家我哋講呢個真相咧，佢亦都唔係一啲好神秘嘅嘢，亦都唔係一啲咩一啲嘅天啟嘅嘢嚟嘅。
Okay. Now the third one, that's probably the most difficult.
第三個真相亦都可能係最難明嘅。
And the way to explain the third truth also, there is so many different, commentary.
亦都有好多嘅論點咧，係去解釋呢一個嘅第三個呢個真相。
Anyway, just simple for now, a very simple version. I'm sure many of you who are seasoned student and practitioner of Buddha Dharma, you know. But for the benefit of those who are new.
我知道咧，在座咧有啲係已經係對佛法嘅聞思修咧已經係好有經驗嘅人啦。但係咧，亦都有一啲係新嘅朋友，對於佛法係冇咁熟悉嘅。所以咧，為咗呢啲新嘅同學咧，我就再講一講。
And this is a really big one.
而呢一個咧就係非常之重要嘅。
Basically, what Buddha is saying, that the third truth is that everything or nothing has truly existing self.
第三個真相咧，就係佛陀講嘅就係所有嘅嘢咧， 或者話冇任何嘅嘢咧，佢係有一個真實嘅實有嘅自性。
Few parts put together, and then, for instance, like a table, you gather some parts together, use it as a table, and then it just becomes a table, but it does not have a so-called soul of the table, self of the table.
好似一張台咁樣，一張台咧係由好多唔同嘅部分都組成嘅，而實際上嗰張台咧並非有一個東西，我哋可以話係一張台嘅佢嘅實在嘅自性。
But everything has an order, by the way.
但係咧，所有嘅事情都係有一啲秩序嘅。
Just because it's orderly does not mean that it truly exists.
我哋見到啲秩序咧，但係咧唔係表示呢啲嘢咧係呢個真實存在。
Like even in the dream, there is an order.
即使我哋喺發夢喺夢中咧，我哋亦都見到好多有秩序嘅事情。
Like if you dream of taking a taxi from here to Kowloon, there is the beginning stage, is the middle, and the reaching stage.
我哋譬如話，我哋而家喺呢度，我哋發夢咧係坐架的士由呢度去九龍咧，咁呢個夢咧亦都有呢個起承轉合嘅。
But just because there is an order doesn't mean that your experience truly existed.
即使我哋見到係有秩序咧，並不表示我哋嗰啲經驗咧係真實嘅存在。
Now, on this level, probably most of you can sort of accept.
咁喺呢個層次咧，我相信你哋大家可能都比較容易接受。
It becomes more complicated when this no self theory is applied to self, the person. Then it becomes that's very personal, you know.
但係咧，當我哋呢個無我呢一個咁樣嘅真相咧，將我哋將佢咧係去運用翻去睇我哋自己嘅話咧，咁我哋就好難去相信我係無我嘅。
You know, you can say something. Oh, you know, you can say whatever you can say whatever you want to say with my table, with my car, with my carpet, with my house. But me, no, there's that.
你可以講好多關於無我嘅，係對架車講關於嗰個房屋啦，或者係呢個地氈啦。你講無我都得，但係如果你講到我自己咧，話我係無我咧，就唔得啦。
But Buddha, in Buddhism, the selflessness of the person self is a very, very important. Now, this is habitually difficult to accept.
咁而佛教裏邊咧，講呢樣咧就叫做人無我啦。咁而呢個咧就係好重要，但係亦都係好難，好多人難以接受嘅。
So, but this idea of selflessness ends up sometimes misinterpreting as negation.
呢個無我咧，好多時候咧，有啲人係錯誤咁樣諗咗佢係一個否定。
Buddhist teachings on selflessness or the shunyata is not a negation at all.
佛陀講無我或者空性咧，佢其實唔係一個否定嚟嘅。
It is not negating any kind of appearance, not at all.
佢唔係對任何嘅現象作出一個否定。
If I'm chewing something sour,
如果我而家係喺度咀嚼一啲酸嘅嘢，
some of you who knows what is sour will have a saliva in your mouth.
咁你一聽我咁講咧， 你哋如果有啲人咧係曾經食過酸嘅嘢咧，你就會覺得口裏邊有啲口水流出嚟啦。
My sour thing that I chew hasn't gone into your mouth.
我而家食緊嗰啲酸嘅嘢咧，冇走入去你個嘴裏邊。
But still, this is how the cause and condition functions.
但係仍然咧，你會覺得係會流口水，呢、個就係咧因果嘅嗰個運作嘅方式啦。
For those who have never experienced sour in their life, no matter how much sour I'm eating, no saliva, nothing.
對於嗰啲咧從未食過酸嘢嘅人咧，雖然我係食好多酸嘢咧，但係咧你完全唔會有反應嘅。
Because habit of sour doesn't exist in his or her system.
因為食酸嘢呢種嘅習慣咧，喺嗰個人佢嘅生命裏邊咧係唔存在嘅。
So anyway, this truth is, often referred as anatta in the Sanskrit language.
咁呢個嘅真相咧，喺呢個梵文裏邊咧就叫做 anatta， 即係無我。
Okay, so now just to re-summarize again.
咁我哋再總結一下，
Dhyana is a method.
禪定咧係一個方法。
Method to make you see these three truths.
佢係一個方法嘅手段咧，係令到我哋能夠睇到頭先所講嘅三個真相。
Make you maintain seeing this truth.
令到你能夠係保持住睇到呢三個真相。
Maintaining this recognition of the truth is important.
能夠保持住對於真相嘅一種認知呢，係好重要嘅。
Because we have so much things, and especially, as I said earlier, we have habit of numbing ourselves.
因為咧，正如我頭先所講啦，我哋好多人咧都有一個習慣咧，就係令自己麻木。
Okay, now again, like the anicca I talked earlier, how does this dukkha and anatta really relate to the today's world?
咁同無常頭先個討論一樣咧，我哋想了解一下呢個苦嘅真相同埋無我嘅真相，咁同而家我哋嘅日常生活又有咩關係呢？
About loneliness, not just loneliness, about management.
有關寂寞又好啦，或者係有關於管理又好。
About leadership, for instance.
譬如呢個嘅領導能力。
I'm only mentioning this because when you go to a bookshop, half the bookshop is about leadership and management.
我點解咁講咧？因為當我去書店逛書店嗰陣時候咧，差唔多有半間書店都係呢啲書啊，管理學啊，或者係領導學。
No one has written a book about how to become being led.
冇人寫嗰本書就係點樣俾人領導咧咁。
Everybody wants to be leader.
個個都想成為領導者。
And the thing is, actually, this, and especially for those who are new here, if you are asking me, what is Buddhism? What is Buddha Dharma? What is Dhyana about?
如果有啲新人咧，想問我究竟呢個佛法呢個佛教或者係禪定，究竟佢哋係關於咩嘅呢？
It's really about being a leader.
真正嚟講咧，佢就係關於點樣去成為一個領導者。
This I'm really not making it up. You can refer to many sutras.
嗱，我唔係亂車㗎嚇，你哋可以去睇嗰啲經典。
I only remember in Tibetan verses.
我而家講一個重複一個嘅西藏嘅一個中文。
It says rangi rangi ngenji jeni sushi ngendujur, which means Buddha. This is Buddha said, "You are your own master. Who else can be your master?"
呢句説話咧就係西藏嘅一個經典嘅中文咧，就係佢話咧，佛陀嗰講咧就係你就係你自己嘅主人啦，除咗你之外，邊個仲係你嘅主人呢？
So, do you want to be a good leader?
所以如果你想成為一個好嘅領導者咧，
Do you want to be a visionary leader? Visionary. This is an important one.
你想唔想成為一個非常之有遠見嘅一個領導者咧？
What is visionary?
咩叫做好有遠見呢？
Anicca, dukkha, anatta.
就係無常、苦、無我。
When you know everything is changing, nothing will satisfy you, nothing is as how it appears, you are the greatest visionary.
因為咧，你知道無常嗰陣時候，所有嘅嘢，你知道所有嘢都係喺度改變緊。你知道冇嘢，任何嘢可以令你完全滿足，同埋咧，你知道你見到個嘢全部咧都唔係真實存在嘅話咧，咁呢個仲有咩係你係咪有非常之大嘅呢個遠見呢？
And everybody wants to control the others.
人人咧都想控制別人，
We are all control freak.
我哋都係啲控制狂嚟嘅。
Well, let's do it.
咁不如就好啊，我哋就咁做啦。
But do it with this vision, this planning.
但係咧，用呢一種咁樣嘅見解，呢一種咁樣嘅計劃嚟到去做。
Because if you want to control, and if you even have a little deficiency in the first truth, the truth of anicca, truth that everything is impermanent, if you don't accept that fully, you are not a good control freak. You cannot control.
咁譬如你係好想去控制啦，咁但係對於無常咧，如果你唔係能夠係好圓滿咁去接受呢個真相咧，咁你冇辦法可以做到呢個好好嘅控制。
Someone will control you.
反而咧，你會俾別人控制。
So everything actually, whatever, it's very, very related to our existence.
所有講嘅嘢咧，同我哋嘅存在同我哋嘅生活咧，都好有關聯嘅。
But that is not the real aim. Real aim is to go beyond.
但係呢個都唔係我哋真正嘅目標嚟嘅。我哋嘅真正目標咧就係去超越。
Okay, so this is sort of the outline of the Dhyana. If you still have I don't know, probably you're too tired. You can go, we will have a break. If you still wish to continue, when we come back, we will do a sort of a short exercise on how to do, the short exercise of this Dhyana based on a very classic method.
咁頭先講嘅咧就係禪定一個概略啦。咁大家可能都會覺得有啲攰啦。咁我哋而家係休息一陣間，然後休息完之後咧，如果你哋仍然喜歡翻嚟聽嘅話咧，我哋就會做一個好短嘅一個練習，就係用一啲好傳統嘅方法嚟到去做呢個禪定嘅。
To a certain extent, by reading books about how everything is changing, how everything does not give you satisfaction, to a certain extent, this will help.
而如果我哋能夠去閱讀一啲書籍，去令我哋明白到無常同埋苦嘅道理啊，呢啲都能夠幫到我哋嘅。
But this Dhyana method has been tested, what do you call it, trial and error, for 2,500 years.
但係而家我向你介紹嘅呢個嘅佛禪定嘅方法咧，佢已經係經過咗2500年嘅考驗。
And this is a big gift.
呢個係一個好大嘅一個禮物。
And there are some very simple and unique method to actualize these truths.
而實際上咧係有啲非常之好精簡而獨特嘅方法咧，去能夠令到我哋咧係能夠體認呢啲嘅真相嘅。
So when we come back, we will discuss this.
我陣間翻嚟嘅時候咧，我哋再討論。
Shall we have like 5-10 minutes break?
我哋或者休息10分鐘。
आर्यावलोकितेश्वर बोधिसत्त्वो गम्भीराया प्रज्ञा पारमितायां चरयां चरमाणो व्यवलोकयति स्म पञ्चस्कन्धाः तांश्च स्वभावं शून्यान् पश्यति स्म इह शारिपुत्ररूपं शून्यता शून्यतैव रूपं रूपान्न पृथक् शून्यता शून्यताया न पृथक् रूपम् यद्रूपं सा शून्यता या शून्यता तद्रूपम् एकमेव वेदना संज्ञा संस्कारा विज्ञानानि च शून्यता इहं शारिपुत्र सर्वधर्माः शून्यता लक्षणा अनुत्पन्ना अनिरुद्धा अमला न विमला अनोना न परिपूर्णाः तस्माच्छारिपुत्र शून्यताया न रूपं न वेदना न संज्ञा न संस्काराः न विज्ञानानि न चक्षुः श्रोत्रघ्राणजिह्वकायमानांसि न रूपशब्द गन्धारसस्पृष्टव्यधर्माः न चक्षुर्धातुर्यावन्न मनो धातुः न विद्या न विद्या न विद्याक्षयो न विद्याक्षयो यावन्न जरामरणम् न जरामरणाक्षयो न दुःखसमुदय निरोधमार्गा न ज्ञानं न प्राप्ति न प्राप्ति तस्मात् शारिपुत्र अत्रातित्वादबोधिसत्त्वस्य प्रज्ञापारमितामाश्रित्य विहरति चित्तावरणः चित्तावरणनास्तित्वादत्रस्तो विपर्यासातिक्रान्तो निष्ठनिर्वाणः स्वाहा गते गते परगते परसंगते बोधि स्वाहा
Thus have I heard once the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha at Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a great gathering of the Sangha of monks and a great gathering of the Sangha of Bodhisattvas. At that time the Blessed One entered the Samadhi that expresses the Dharma called profound illumination, and at the same time noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, while practicing the profound prajna paramita, saw in this way. He saw the five skandhas to be empty of nature, and through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, how should a son or daughter of noble family train who wishes to practice the profound prajna paramita, addressed in this way? Noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva said to Venerable Shariputra, O Shariputra, a son or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound prajna paramita should see in this way, seeing the five skandhas to be empty of nature. Form is emptiness, emptiness also is form. Emptiness is no other than form, form is no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness are emptiness. Thus Shariputra, all dharmas are emptiness. There are no characteristics, there is no birth and no cessation, there is no impurity and no purity, there is no decrease and no increase. Therefore Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no dharmas, no eye, dhatu, up to, no mind, dhatu, no dhatu of dharmas, no mind consciousness, dhatu, no ignorance, no end of ignorance, up to no old age and death, no end of old age and death, no suffering, no origin of suffering, no cessation, no suffering, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore Shariputra, since the Bodhisattvas have no attainment, they abide by means of prajna paramita. Since there is no obscuration of mind, there is no fear, they transcend falsity and attain complete nirvana. All the Buddhas of the 3 times by means of prajna paramita, fully awakened to unsurpassable true complete enlightenment. Therefore the great mantra of prajna paramita, the mantra of great insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra paramita, and the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, saying, Good, O son of noble family, thus it is, O son of noble family, thus it is, one should practice the profound prajna paramita, just as you have taught, and all the Tathagatas will rejoice when the Blessed One has set his venerable Shariputra and noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, that whole assembly and the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas rejoice and praise the words of the Blessed One.
आर्यावलोकितेश्वर बोधिसत्त्वो गम्भीराया प्रज्ञा पारमितायां चरयां चरमाणो व्यवलोकयति स्म पञ्चस्कन्धाः तांश्च स्वभाव शून्यात् पश्यति स्म इह शारिपुत्ररूपं शून्यता शून्यतैव रूपं रूपान्न पृथक् शून्यता शून्यताया न पृथक् रूपम् यद्रूपं सा शून्यता या शून्यता तद्रूपम् एकमेव वेदना संज्ञा संस्कारा विज्ञानानि च शून्यता इहं शारिपुत्र सर्वधर्माः शून्यता लक्षणा अनुत्पन्ना अनिरुद्धा अमला न विमला अनोना न परिपूर्णाः तस्मात् शारिपुत्र
Are there a lot of questions?
有冇人有問題想問呢？
I should not do that, but they say I could just run after you. Welcome to Hong Kong, and we have a Buddha shop. It's been really difficult. It's so touching. Thank you.
Are there questions? Maybe not, right? Okay. We just do a small.
如果冇問題嘅話咧，我哋做一個少少嘅練習啦。
Okay. Okay, so Dhyana is a skill, it's a method.
禪定係一個手段，一個方法。
methods are important,
方法咧係好重要嘅。
but methods are just like I think one great Zen master said, it's like if you are pointing, if a finger is pointing at a moon, the finger is the method.
方法雖然係重要，但係正如一位好偉大嘅禪師所講，呢個指緊月嘅手指呢，就唔係最重要，最重要嘅係個月亮。
Now, method, there is countless.
方法咧係有無盡嘅，
And we should really be glad that there is a countless of methods.
我哋其實應該好開心有咁多嘅唔同嘅方法。
If there's only one or two methods, many of us will be, like lost.
如果只係有一個或者兩個方法嘅話咧，咁好多人咧都會覺得冇辦法可以去進行。
Some methods are more universal, the other methods are more exclusive to a certain tradition or a certain, people.
有啲方法咧係大眾可以修嘅，但係有啲方法咧就係只係某啲傳承裏邊、某啲傳統裏邊嘅一啲嘅好少數人先可以做。
And sometimes we human beings, we are a bit funny. We look at some other people's method and laugh.
我哋人類咧好奇怪，有時我哋見到其他人嘅方法咧，我哋會笑啊。
Remember, I said everybody is only talking about the cup. Nobody talks about the coffee.
正如我頭先所講啦，個個都喺度討論緊嗰個杯，而冇人咧係去討論嗰啲咖啡。
So, for instance, if you go to, let's say, Japanese Zen, let's say Soto Zen or Rinzai Zen, the simplicity seems to be like their method.
咁如果係講呢個日本嘅禪咧，無論佢係曹洞宗又好，或者係臨濟宗又好啦，咁佢哋一個特點咧就係佢哋非常之係精簡嘅。
So it's like empty, just one statue, there's one flower hanging there, that kind of Zen.
就係佢哋就算喺啲房間咧，非常之簡潔嘅，可能只係有一個佛像喺度，或者係只係有一盆花喺度。
Now, rush to Kathmandu, Tibetan temple, completely chaotic, like so many. That's what they prefer, so to speak.
但係如果你去到加德滿都嗰啲嘅佛寺咧，你就見到哇好多嘢。 非常之混亂啊！非常之多嗰個嘅佛像。
And there are traditions that really sort of emphasize more on like sitting.
而有啲嘅傳承咧，有啲傳統咧，佢哋就係非常之強調係靜坐嘅打坐。
But then there are other who emphasize also on chanting.
但係有啲傳統咧，佢哋就好強調呢個念經或者唱誦。
So I guess that's why if you go to something like a Kathmandu, you see a lot of these monks and nuns with the mala, rosary. Whereas if you go to Japan, most of the monks don't really go around with a mala or a prayer wheel. They're all there sitting.
如果你去到加德滿都咧，你見到好多僧尼咧，佢哋都係揸住個念珠喺度念啊。咁但係你去到呢個日本嘅禪寺咧，你就只係見到嗰啲嘅僧侶咧喺度靜坐打坐嘅啫。
And by the way, it's not just that. Even the images of the Buddha is actually a skill. It's a method.
唔淨止係咁樣，即使係個佛陀嘅佛像嗰啲嘅影像咧，亦都係一個嘅善巧方便嚟嘅。
I'm sure the academics here will know very well. I think pre-Ashoka, hardly the Buddhists have any images.
現場有好多學者佢哋都會知道啦，就係喺阿育王嘅時代之前咧，根本上咧係好少有佛像嘅。
people like Mahayana people who reads Vajracchedika Sutra, they say, Buddha said, those who see me as a form, they have a wrong idea. They say stuff like that.
喺大乘嗰啲經典裏邊，譬如《金剛經》裏邊有講咧，就係若以色見我，以音聲求我，是人行邪道，不能見如來。
But then, different Buddha appearance also. If you go to Chinese, the Chinese Buddhists are slightly more plummish.
咁而家啲佛像嘅形象咧都唔同喎。喺中國嚟講咧，嗰啲佛像咧係比較肥滿啲嘅，飽滿嘅。
And the Indian, I don't know, like a Chola and a Gupta period, the Buddhas have a big shoulder, big chest.
而喺嗰個印度嗰個 Gupta 嗰個時代咧，嗰啲佛像咧係嗰個胸係好闊嘅，嗰個係啦，嗰個肩亦都係好闊嘅。
And then those Greek, probably that most ancient Buddha statue maker, they have like long nose, high nose, Gandhara, right? Gandhara.
咁而好古代嘅即係最古嘅佛像咧，佢哋係有高鼻啊、高鼻梁啊咁樣，好似嗰啲希臘人咁嘅。
But these are all methods.
但係呢啲所有嘢都係方便，都係方法嚟嘅。
Now there's one method that we all kind of, we all, all tradition and everyone sort of revere.
但係有一個方法咧，係差唔多所有傳統咧都非常尊敬嘅。
And that is sitting straight.
呢個咧就係即係坐直個身打坐。
I think it makes sense.
呢個我覺得亦都係非常之有道理嘅。
I mean, you can do thinking about impermanence and everything is, nothing is really going to satisfy you 100%. All of that, you can do that on a hammock with a martini in your hand. You can. It's not like you cannot.
當然啦，你如果話你去呢個思考或者係呢個修無常苦無我嘅時候，你係揸住杯雞尾酒，咁得唔得咧？都得㗎。
But chances of you falling asleep or getting numbed more is high, especially for the beginners.
咁但係咧，你係變得係麻木或者係變得好有睡意嗰個機會咧，就高咗好多啦。尤其係對於嗰啲初學嘅人嚟講。
So sitting straight is sort of revered.
咁所以咧係差唔多所有傳承咧，所有傳統咧都係好對於呢個正襟危坐係好尊敬嘅。
Not now, but those who wish to explore a little bit on this Dhyana, I would recommend this.
唔係講而家啦，但係對於嗰啲即係希望更深一步去探討禪定嘅人咧，我相信你哋會，我希望你哋多做啲呢個打坐嘅。
Okay, so how are we going to do this?
咁而家我哋點樣做呢？
There are so many methods, but I'm going to choose as one specific one tonight.
咁有好多方法嘅，咁啊今晚咧我會揀其中一個方法。
So let's talk about me, self, I.
嗱，我而家講一講我。
When we say I, me, who are you talking about?
當我哋講我嘅時候咧，究竟我哋係講緊乜嘢呢？
Well, the Buddhists think generally you are talking about four things.
佛教徒話咧，基本上嚟講咧，你係講緊四樣嘢。
Okay, form, feeling,
就係身體感受
mind,
心。
And well, the Buddhists use the word dharma, but I'm going to use reference for tonight.
同埋第四樣咧就係 Dharma， 即係法。喺今晚咧，我用一個字眼咧，就係呢個叫做參照或者係依據或者係對照對比。
So let me explain. So when you say me,
當我哋講我嘅時候
When you say the moment when you say me, you are the outermost is the size, the weight, the color, the shape, sort of very vaguely, actually very, very vaguely. You never ever really precisely know your body, even though you think you know.
我哋講到我咧，我哋會有一個形象嘅，即係對於我哋嘅嗰個身體嘅重量啊、大小啊、形狀啊，我哋會有一個好模糊嘅咁嘅概念。但係咧，其實咧，我哋嘅就算係對於自己我咧，呢個認識咧，都唔係非常之確切嘅。
Okay, body. That's a big vessel.
我哋嘅身體呢個係一個好大嘅一個容器。
Let's say like an egg. This is a big shell.
譬如話呢個雞蛋嚟講咧，咁呢個係講緊佢嘅蛋殼。
Okay. Now, more important, but much more subtle is the feeling.
更加重要嘅咧就係嗰個第二樣咧就係嗰個受啦，即係感受。
I mean, your feeling, that's big you.
呢個感受咧，其實係你嘅其中更加大嘅一個組成部分嚟嘅。
I'm hurt, I'm excited, I'm happy, etc.
我好快樂，我好興奮，或者我受到傷害等等。
I mean, body gets hurt, already painful, but feeling gets hurt, that's like much worse.
個身體受到傷害咧，已經係好差啦，好唔掂啦。咁但係如果我哋嘅感情係受到傷害咧，咁啊仲大鑊。
Now, much more you, but much more subtle is mind.
嗱，更加係深入嘅咧，更加微細嘅你咧，但係一個係更加重要嘅你咧，就係你嘅心啦。
Of course, if you don't have mind, you're just a piece of wood or a piece of, just like a stone. You're nothing.
當然啦，如果你冇心，你冇你嘅心咧，咁你係一個死物，你係一個冇感情、冇感受嘅嘢個東西。
Now, even more subtle, even more you is dharma or the reference. Let's use the reference.
更加微細嘅你咧，其實咧就係所謂嘅法。呢度有啲人譯做現象啦。仁波切呢度講咧就係一個依據或者係對比參照。
So stuff like I am man.
譬如話我係人。
I am not 16 years old.
我唔係16歲。
I don't know, I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor, all these references.
我係一個醫生或者我係一個護士，呢啲咧全部都係一啲依據、一啲對照嚟嘅。
This is a really big one.
呢個係一個好重要嘅。
We are not going to cover, I don't think we can cover the mind and the reference tonight.
我覺得咧，今晚可能唔會講到好多關於呢個心同埋嗰個第四樣嗰個法。
Briefly, maybe the first and the second.
或者可能會講到少少關於呢個身同埋感受。
Okay, so now talk about your body.
嗱，我哋而家講下你嘅身體。
Now, usually when you think about your body, you think about Zara.
如果你通常咧，你一諗到你嘅身體咧，你就會諗到 Sarah。
Or I don't know, Chanel or whatever, doesn't matter.
或者係 Chanel 或者
Or a yoga.
或者係瑜伽。
Or a gym.
或者係去健身。
Or I don't know, Brad Pitt. I don't know, whatever the current. I'm so outdated, so I don't know whoever is the idol.
我而家已經係比較係冇跟得貼嗰啲潮流咁多噶啦，所以我
Blackpink, right? Yeah,
Blackpink 呢個牌子啊。
That's what you think. When the moment you think about your body, you think about these.
你一諗到個身嘅時候咧，你就諗到頭先嗰啲嘢啦。
So what does that do?
咁呢個有咩作用呢？
Remember, that makes you numb.
頭先有個提到啦，呢啲嘢咧就令到你麻木麻醉。
That makes you forget anicca, dukkha, and anatta, the three truths that I was talking earlier.
令到你忘記咗無常、苦、無我嗰啲嘅真相。
Then, it's like, actually, it's possible to become like a Blackpink, every one of us. But we will never think that.
其實咧，我哋個個都可以成為一個 Blackpink 嘅，咁但係其實我哋都冇咁做。
Even me, if I really, if my ultimate goal is Blackpink body, I just go to Korea and, operate.
即係好似我咁啊！如果我真係我嘅真正嘅目標咧係有一個 Blackpink 黑粉紅咁樣嘅身體咧，我可以去南韓嘅，我可以去南韓做嗰啲整容咪得咯。
And probably I will have a happiness for 1 week.
咁我可能會有一個禮拜會覺得好開心。
But then things will fall apart.
咁但係跟住咧啲嘢就會走樣啦。
When I smile, I'll have to really extra smile.
咁我笑嗰陣時候咧，我要特別誇張啲嚟笑。
Because those plastics don't move easily,
因為你嗰啲塑膠咧，即係變咗，慢慢變咗硬咗。
So that's what I mean. So normally when think about the body, we are always thinking this way.
我哋通常一諗到個身體咧，就係諗到呢啲嘢。
Now, let's use Dhyana.
嗱，而家我哋試下用呢個禪定嘅方法。
And let's look at your body.
而去睇，真係去觀察我哋嘅身體。
But I'm not asking you to look at this body like with a light, without a light, a special way. Nothing, none of that. Light coming, light. I'm not telling you to think of your body in a special way.
我唔係叫你係去諗用某一種特別嘅方法去諗你嘅身體。
Just observe your body.
只係好簡單咁樣去觀察自己嘅身體。
As it is.
佢係點樣就點樣去觀察。
Nothing more, nothing less.
唔加嘢，亦都唔減嘢。
1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes every day.
每一日1分鐘或者2分鐘、3分鐘。
Not using a specific, this is how it should be, this is how it should not be.
唔係加上一啲諗法，就係話我個身體應該係咁樣嘅，應該係點樣嘅。
Just observing.
只係好純粹咁樣去觀察。
It's quite, we haven't done this. Most of us, we haven't done this.
其實我哋好多人咧都冇曾經咁樣做過嘅。
This is why you are never amused that you have 10 fingers.
所以咧，我哋冇人咧對於自己有10隻手指咧覺得好有趣。
It's actually very funny that we have 10 fingers.
其實我哋有10隻手指係好有趣嘅事。
And 10 toes and stuff like that. Maybe some 11, some like 9. I don't know what.
仲有啲腳趾，或者有啲人係有11隻，或者有啲人有9隻。
And the nostrils, my goodness, that's like incredible.
咁而我哋嘅鼻孔咧，其實係好特別嘅嘢嚟嘅。
So just that, just observe.
我哋只係去觀察嘅啫。
I'm not asking you to think about the Buddha or something holy, something compassionate. Nothing.
唔使去諗一啲佛陀啊，或者佛陀，或者一啲聖者啊，或者係好慈悲啊等等嘅嘢。
That's how you have to begin.
開始嘅時候咧，就應該咁做嘅。
Just observing the body.
只係好純粹咁樣去觀察自己嘅身體。
What does this do? This will make you face to face the body.
咁樣有咩作用咧？咁樣就能夠令到你真係面對面咁樣去，即係對住你自己嘅身體。
If you are face to face with your body, without any judgment,
如果你能夠 面對你自己嘅身體，冇任何嘅裁判啦，或者係判斷。
Without any reference, such as Blackpink,
冇任何嘅對照或者參考，例如嗰個 Blackpink 咧。
then at the least it should really sort out the bulimia problem.
Bulimia?
I don't know what it is. Bulimia. How do you bulimic? Some people eat a lot and then vomit everything, kind of, things like that, or overeating or not eating.
咁啊，至少咧，你能夠咧，即係解決咗一啲即係太過為食多食嘅困難。
And you will not be proud of your body.
你唔會話對自己嘅身體感覺到好自豪。
You will also not be ashamed of your body.
但係亦都唔會覺得係好羞恥。
You will be confident with your body.
你對自己嘅身體咧會有自信。
Confidence with your body is much, much better than 100,000 Chanel lipsticks.
對自己嘅身體有自信咧，好過1萬支個 Chanel 嘅口唇膏。
Not only you are confident when you walk in here, there with your ease with your body, people will be also charmed by you because you are not insecure. Your eyes is not rolling up and down.
咁如果你對自己身體有自信嘅話咧，同埋咁唔淨止係你自己係覺得係好舒適，而見到你嘅人咧，亦都會感受到你嗰個魅力嘅，因為你係冇咗一種嘅不安全感。
Okay, but this is not our main goal.
但呢個唔係我哋嘅真正嘅目標嚟嘅。
Our main goal is to see the anicca, the uncertainty of the body.
我哋嘅目標咧係去真係睇到呢個無常，同埋苦。
The dukkha or the sort of the anxiety of the body.
我哋嘅身體嘅對於我哋嘅身體嘅嗰種苦同埋嘅焦慮。
And the selflessness of the body.
同埋我哋嘅身體嘅無我，即係冇一個真實嘅實性。
And I think those who are seasoned, you are doing a lot of practices and you are doing many other things. But for those who are just newly walked in today, and if you are curious about these, I highly suggest do this.
當然咧，在座咧有好多人咧都係老修行啦，佢哋有好多自己嘅法去做。但係咧有啲新嘅朋友咧，佢可能會覺得好有興趣，好好奇。咁我會係非常之推薦頭先我講呢種好簡單嘅咁樣嘅禪定嘅方法。
And usually you will also just observe body, and then what? You might want to ask this. No, then what? Just keep on.
咁有啲人就會問啦，咁啊淨係咁觀察，咁又點咧？觀察完之後又點咧？咁仁波切話答案咧就係你呢個繼續去做就得啦。
Okay, I think quickly, then we do the feeling.
嗱咁跟住好快咧，我哋係講關於嗰個感受。
And I think for the beginners, you can also start with the feeling or the sensation of the body also.
對於啲新人嚟講咧，佢哋亦都可以去做關乎自己嘅身體嘅感受嘅觀察。
There has to be a sensation right this very moment.
而家呢一刻咧，我哋都可以感受到我哋嘅身體嘅一種嘅感覺。
Just observing that.
你只要需要去觀察下。
Then gradually,
咁漸漸咧
when you are depressed or when you are excited, just watching that.
如果你係好興奮啊，或者你係好沮喪嘅時候咧，你亦都就係觀察。
When you are depressed, do not look for a solution.
當你沮喪嗰陣時候咧，你唔好去尋求一啲嘅解決方案。
Just look at the depression.
而係直接咁樣去觀察住。
Observe and observe.
係一而再咁去觀察住呢個嘅嗰個沮喪嘅感覺。
Yeah, maybe it will take a few months. And if you just keep on being stubborn and observe, your sadness, depression, anxiety, it will unfold to something.
如果你能夠堅持幾個月持續咁樣去觀察對於自己嗰種嘅悲哀啊、沮喪啊或者係焦慮，對佢進行觀察嘅話咧，咁你會發覺咧係會有一啲新嘅嘢你係睇得到嘅。
Yeah. Usually when we think about a feeling, then we are always thinking about, like a relationship, social media, some sort of a way to numb. But here is the opposite.
當我哋講到感受嘅時候咧，我哋會想到人際關係啦、嗰啲嘅社交平台啦，咁樣嗰啲嘢嚟係令到我哋麻木嘅嘢。但係喺呢度咧，我哋唔係做嗰啲嘢嘅，我哋啱啱相反嘅。
Okay. Sorry, it has been really long-winded. Somehow it ended up becoming quite long. I'm going to, I think, wrap this here.
我可能咧講得比較長咗啦，咁而家或者我總結一下。
I would suggest if those who wants to do it short.
我會建議咧，如果有啲朋友咧，佢係想跟住呢個方法去做嘅話咧，我會建議你咧係每一次做咧係短啲時間。
I'm talking about 2-3 minutes.
可能係2-3分鐘。
Even if you want to impress your friend doing 1 hour, don't do it.
即使係你想做長啲時間1個鐘頭咁嚟到令到你嘅即係威俾你啲朋友睇啦，我建議你唔好咁做。
Especially if you're a beginner.
尤其係如果你係一個初學者。
But be consistent.
但係呢，希望你能夠堅持時時咁做。
The worst is doing some sort of a vipassana for 9 days and then never do it for 2 years.
嗰啲如果你係譬如話去做內觀咁樣做9日嘅內觀，咁跟住做完之後2年咧乜都唔做啦，呢個就唔多好啦。
If you do it every day, maybe 2-3 minutes.
如果你係每一日能夠做2-3分鐘
what will happen is you will then taste the taste of what they call samadhi.
如果你堅持咁做嘅話咧，你會係能夠品嚐到呢個三摩地呢個定嘅呢個味道。
And then once you reach that, you will always be looking for this.
如果你
This taste.
係有咁樣嘅經驗嘅話咧，你會時常咧係想能夠得返呢一種咁樣嘅經驗。
Moment you have a spare time, you will want to taste that.
你一有空閒嘅時間咧，你就會想去做呢個禪修而得到呢個定嘅。
So, I think this is very, very, what do you call it? I was trying to make it more practical, the sort of just very brief introduction to Dhyana.
我只係希望咧能夠做一個對於呢個禪定咧做一個係好簡單嘅介紹，同埋介紹一啲好容易做嘅實踐嘅方法。
But I want to really tell you this. Let's make it a little broader.
但係我希望咧能夠令佢更加係廣闊一啲。
I will consider those of you here who goes to temple. You do not sit. You do not think about everything what I just said. You offer an incense and think, I like to really actualize Dhyana. This act I will consider as a Dhyana.
咁就係呢，就如果你哋將來呢係去一個寺廟嗰陣時候呢，我唔係要求你哋去嗰度打坐，而係話你去到寺廟，你係去供一支香。咁而你供香嗰陣時候呢，你會係諗住希望呢能夠真係能夠經驗到或者係體驗到呢個禪定。咁呢一樣嘢呢，我已經係覺得係一種嘅禪定嘅行為。
Okay, so maybe we will have maybe something like 5 questions.
然之後我哋可以問幾個問題啦。
I think I heard there's some questions from outside.
我聽講
Okay.
好似有啲人係外邊
Okay,
Zoom 嗰度
shall we
有人
begin?
問問題。
Okay.
Hello, Rinpoche. This first question is, nowadays there's many lectures and about Buddhism and also the meditation in the market, especially during these 2 years. So for us, especially for the Vajrayana students, how to make a choice, which lecture, which class should we take? Because the time actually is kind of limited, but actually every day we have so many information of the different classes and lectures. So could you give some suggestion? How to make choice is the best way for us? Thank
If
you.
you are beginners, you should watch all.
But
Just fast forward.
but the
Wherever you are bored, just fast forward. I'm serious.
but the time is limited.
Well, yes, but I think you'll have to bump into one that you will be hooked. So until then, you should just go through.
So
And then
even-
one day, there will be something that will really, karmic link, they call it, that may happen.
So even already have guru, so also need to listen to different teachers or gurus.
No, you don't have to, but sometimes we do because we like to see what some people are saying.
Thank you.
好快轉翻譯一下頭先嗰個問題咧，係而家呢個世代尤其是呢2年間啦，個市場上就有好多例如禪修或者佛法嘅課程。咁作為我哋金剛城，如果我哋係金剛城嘅弟子咧，非常之困難去選擇，而且都冇時間啦。咁個問題同Rinpoche問嘅問題就係咁，我哋點樣揀咧？係唔係應該聽邊一個咧？尤其是如果我哋係有上師嘅話，咁我哋係咪都要聽埋其他嗰啲咧？
Okay.
咁寧波車嗰個答案咧就話咧，你可以睇晒佢哋嘅，你可以呢個用呢個快啲嘅，即係睇快啲咁樣嚟到睇晒所有呢啲節目咁最終咧，你都可能會揾到一個同你係有宿世姻緣嘅上師啊，就算你係有師傅，你已經有師傅啦，但係好多人咧，佢都仍然係想睇下人哋做咗啲乜嘢咧咁。
Okay. Yeah. Whoever has the mic, please.
Okay, Rinpoche, thanks for your talking. So I'd like to ask one question is that when you said there's a taste of Dhyana, and you also talk about the body, mind, and feeling Dhamma. So when you talk about the taste, so this is a taste from the body, from the feeling, or mind, or the Dhamma?
Okay.
個問題係頭先 Rinpoche 有講到呢個禪修嘅味道，亦都講到身體啦、自己嘅心啦，同埋個感覺。咁其實仁波切講味道嘅時候，究竟咧係問緊個身啦，抑或個心，抑或自己嘅感覺嘅味道咧
Okay. This is important question.
呢個問題都好重要嘅。
In Tibetan, we call it samtenji ro, meaning the taste of samadhi.
喺西藏咧，我哋就話咧係呢個三摩地定嘅一種嘅味道，禪味啊。
Okay. I'll give you a very crude example, okay?
我俾一個好粗淺嘅例子。
What is the main purpose of Dhyana?
究竟禪定修禪定個目的係乜嘢呢？
Main purpose of Dhyana is really to topple, to destroy the duality.
佢嘅主要嘅目的咧，就係要去毀滅嗰啲嘅異取分別。
Right, wrong, bad, good, all that.
就係嗰啲好壞對錯等等。
This duality is so tiring and exhausting.
呢個分別心咧 係令到我哋非常之疲累嘅。
Okay, now I'm not promoting alcohol here.
嗱，我而家唔係話要去鼓勵你哋去飲酒，
But I have to give you some sort of a crude example.
但係我只係能夠舉一啲好粗淺嘅例子。
Why do people drink?
點解啲人要飲酒呢？
Why do they like this tipsy feeling?
點解佢哋覺得即係中意個輕飄飄咁樣嘅感覺呢？
They like this sort of very, very, very fake non-duality.
佢其實咧就係中意咗一種好假嘅呢個無分別嘅一種咁樣嘅感覺。
A little bit of a, couldn't care less.
就係好似即係無憂無慮咁樣。
You become more bold.
你會係好似變得更加有膽量。
You are afraid of. You are less afraid.
你冇咁害怕。
You don't really have too much burden of being good, which many, I think, Chinese society suffers.
你唔使即係咁緊張自己係一個好人咧，呢個係一個中國社會裏邊一個嘅特別嘅一種嘅負擔嚟嘅。
So this is why we do this, right?
所以我哋就咁做咯。
Now, multiply this 1 million times.
嗱，將頭先嗰種嘅感覺咧，就係成大100萬倍。
Without needing to buy alcohol.
而唔需要去買酒飲。
Without needing to become addicted to a substance.
唔需要係對某種東西上咗癮。
Some sort of a sense of, like, I know, yeah, boldness.
呢種好似係一種咁樣嘅好有膽量咁樣嘅一種感覺。
Not that worried about being good.
唔需要擔心話要去做好人。
But of course, not also like upsetting everybody by being bad.
當然亦都唔係要去做個壞人，去令所有人都即係覺得唔開心咯。
And also in the past, maybe you are so obsessed with things.
過往咧，你可能係對於某啲嘢咧係好緊張嘅。
Like you have to iron your underpant.
譬如係你要底褲都要燙嘅。
Now maybe you don't even wash it for a few days.
而家你哋甚至咧可能幾日都唔洗。
You know what I'm saying? So that kind of relaxed sort of, I don't know, couldn't carelessness.
你知我講乜嘢？
Maybe is a sort of a mediocre example for this taste I'm talking about.
即係呢種咁樣嘅好放鬆，好似冇咩顧慮嘅咁樣嘅感覺咧，呢個就係我哋而家所講呢個嗰個禪味嘅一個好簡單嘅一個好粗淺一個例子嚟嘅。
Yeah, so then, okay, but the next one, whoever has, yeah, please.
Hi, Rinpoche.
Yes.
So I think just now you have mentioned the third truth, which is about selfless. I found that a bit crash to the concept of the Buddha nature, like Buddha reference. So, as you said, like everything is selfless, but what about the nature itself, like the Buddha nature itself? Yeah. So I just feel a little bit confused on that.
問題係咧，頭先仁波切講第三個真理，咁咧就係關於呢個無我嘅。咁呢位同學就覺得有一個好大嘅衝擊。佢話對於呢個佛法，如果咧每一樣嘢都係無我嘅話，咁佛法係咪咁佛法又點咧？係咪無我咧？佛性係咪無我咧
？This is important question again.
呢個亦都係好重要嘅問題。
Yeah. So many extensive study on this.
其實咧，以往咧亦都有好多人係研究過呢個問題。
Buddha nature, Tathagata Garbha is a label.
佛性如來藏咧，佢係一個標籤。
And it's a very, very, very carefully crafted label.
佢亦都係一個非常之小心咁樣去製造出嚟嘅一個標籤嚟嘅。
So many people involved trying to sort of define this.
有好多人咧係牽涉係去定義呢個佛性。
Okay. This is also a little complicated question, by the way.
其實呢個問題咧係有少少複雜。
So I'm going to give you my standard example I usually give.
咁我會俾一個我通常講嘅一個標準答案。
See, like when you are reading Heart Sutra,
咁當你念心經嘅時候，
there's a lot of mention of shunyata. No this, no that, no eyes, no nose, no this, no Buddha, you know.
咁有講好多關於空性嘅嘢，譬如話無眼耳鼻舌身意啊，無乜無物啊咁樣。
But this no is actually not negation no.
咁但係呢個無咧，並非一個否定嘅意思嘅。
Shunya, the word shunya. By the way, the Indians, they're very proud that they came up with the word zero, right?
呢個空性呢個字咧，即係其實咧，嗰啲印度人咧係對於佢哋嗰個靈咧，呢個創造出靈咧係好自豪嘅。
It's very difficult to translate this word shunya.
Shunya 呢個所謂空呢個字咧係好難翻譯嘅。
In the Tibetan, they translate it as a tongpa ni, and this tongpa, okay, but ni, this word ni it has everything.
但係喺西藏文咧，佢哋個翻譯空性咧，咁而呢個性咧，佢係好重要啊，係佢包含所有嘅嘢。
So how do you talk about something that is yes and no both together?
咁你點樣去描述一樣嘢？佢係同時又係，同時亦都係唔係嘅咧
？So it's a bit like this, like a rainbow. It's there, but it's also not there.
就好似彩虹咁樣，嗰度有彩虹，但係咧實際亦都冇一樣真實嘅嘢。
So there is a scholar called Nagarjuna. Many of you, I'm sure, you have heard.
咁有一位嘅學者咧，佢係Nagarjuna龍樹菩薩，我相信大家都會認識。
Maybe his commentary is more on it's not there.
佢嘅解釋咧就比較偏向於解釋咧嗰度係冇嘢。
And Asanga or Maitreya, they're talking about the same thing, the rainbow, but their interpretation is more that it's there.
而呢個無著菩薩咧，佢嘅解釋咧，佢就係比較偏向於嗰種嘅顯現，好似呢個彩虹，我哋講緊都係彩虹。
So basically what I'm saying is the Nagarjuna people will use the word shunyata more, and Asanga people will use the Buddha nature more. I mean, Tathagata Garva more, the word.
咁所以咧，龍樹個系統咧就會比較多啲會用呢個空或者空性，而無著菩薩佢哋咧就會係多啲會講如來藏或者係佛性。
So it's not really a self.
咁而家呢啲嘢咧，都唔係話講緊有一個真實一個我嘅。
Okay.
There are some questions from online regarding observing your feelings. So you said to observe difficult feelings like depression or anxiety rather than trying to find a solution. So how do we keep afloat and separate ourselves from the experience and prevent ourselves from sinking and spiraling out of control? Are our feelings separate from our mind?
頭先Rinpoche 有講到我哋咧係要去睇住觀照住我哋嗰啲好辛苦痛苦嘅感受，咁樣例如我哋嘅焦慮啊或者緊張，咁點樣可以令到我哋喺嗰個嗰啲咁嘅感受上面咧係浮而唔係咧沉咗落去咧？我哋點樣去將我哋嘅感受同我哋嘅心分開咧
Yeah, a little bit of patience is required now.
我哋係需要一啲耐性㗎。
I know we live in a culture, we live in a time where there's lots of Panadols, you know.
當然啦，我哋呢個時代咧係有好多即係止痛藥
quick fix.
一啲係特效嘅，好快令到你痛苦消失嘅藥。
I understand that just observing the sort of sadness, and probably may like just few days may not do the job, but they should be really persistent.
頭先我話咧，睇住我哋嗰種嘅悲傷，咁如果你係淨係做幾日咧，可能係咧都冇乜效果嘅，你係需要堅持咁去做嘅。
Yes, if they could just put a little more effort in just observing.
如果你能夠即係俾多少少嘅功夫咧，嚟到去做呢個觀察。
But when you do just the observing, there are few other obstacles will arise.
咁但係咧，如果你做呢個觀察嗰陣時候咧，就可能會有啲障礙會生起嘅喎。
When you do just the observing, the feeling is still so strong, right? The sadness, the depression is so strong, but you are still observing, and the part of you want to just fix it. That is one of the problem. So please try not to fix it.
咁當你係去觀察自己嘅感受嘅時候，譬如你有一個好強嘅悲傷嘅感覺啦，咁如果你係去觀察佢或者堅持去觀察佢，但係咧做得咁上下咧，你會發覺咧，你內心咧就好想去搞掂嗰件事或者搞掂嗰個感覺，咁呢樣嘢咧就係你個障礙嚟。
The bigger problem, there's another one.
咁另外一個更加大嘅一個障礙啦。
Sometimes when we observe, actually the sadness dissipates.
就係咧，你做下觀察嗰陣時候，你發覺嗰個悲傷個感覺冇咗喎，消失咗。
Then you get excited.
咁你就覺得好興奮啦。
Then you think, I did it.
我搞掂咗啦。
That's even more dangerous.
咁呢樣仲危險添。
So no, what do you call it? I don't know. No giving yourself an award.
咁咧就你唔使俾自己一個獎牌嘅。
Just simply, and then of course also, it's very boring.
咁同時咧，你都可能會感覺到係好悶啊，好單調沉悶。
Yeah. So you will have to really learn to love the boredom.
咁咧，你要對於呢個單調沉悶咧，你要學識點樣去欣賞佢。
That's why I'm suggesting 3 minutes, and please don't tell me you don't have 3 minutes.
所以我會建議你哋只係做3分鐘，你唔好話俾我聽，連3分鐘都冇。
You do have 3 minutes.
你有3分鐘嘅。
Okay. Two more, and then we'll finish.
咁問多2條問題。
There's another question online. A lot of students in mainland China would like Rinpoche to explain a little bit more about observing the body. Do you mean literally take our clothes off and look at our body?
有好多網上嘅學生咧，中國大陸嘅同學想請教仁波切，當我哋去觀照我哋嘅身體嘅時候，係咪即係代表我哋係除咗件衫去睇自己個身體咧
？That could help actually.
可能咁做都有幫助嘅喎。
But I think more importantly, just sitting and just acknowledging the body.
咁我覺得咧，但係咧比較重要嘅咧，就係你真係只係坐直喺度咧，去觀察自己嘅身體。
Okay, whole day today.
Now,
today, whole day.
我哋今日全日。
How many of you have thought about your body? Tell me.
你哋有幾多人曾經真係去諗自己嘅身體啊
I know you shed many times. I know you drank many times. I know you talked many times. But how many of you have thought about your body? Just for even a minute.
我知你哋係有講過好多關於自己身體，或者有嗰啲好多個動作啦，但係實際上你哋有冇觀察過自己嘅身體呢
That's all we are talking about. Just observing, acknowledging.
我哋只係講緊呢樣嘢啫，就只係真係好簡單咁樣，好直接咁樣去觀察自己嘅身體。
Okay, one more, and then we will end here.
講多1條問題咯。
Okay. Yes, please. Yes.
Thank you. I have a important question that
Okay.
that after we know that everything is impermanent, right? Then love is impermanent. So I really want to know, how do you think about love? Is there true love really exist? Thank you.
Is there true love
True
exist?
love. Yes. What is true love?
有一個非常之重要嘅問題啦。如果所有事情都係無常，而愛都係無常嘅話咧，咁愛係乜嘢咧？真愛會係咪呢個世界係有真愛嘅咧
This is really important. Really.
呢個真係好緊要嘅，真嘅。
No, I'm serious. And actually, we should all love others, and we should all be loved by others. We should.
係啊，我哋應該咧，即係愛別人，亦都應該係被別人所愛。
And anyway, when the love comes, nothing can stop you.
但係當個愛係嚟到嘅時候咧，冇任何嘢可以阻擋你嘅。
When the karmic wind blows, it doesn't matter. You could be sitting here in Hong Kong, your lover will be in Bolivia or in Peru. Something will just happen.
當個葉風真係嚟吹嚟嘅時候咧，就算你係喺香港，但係你嗰個愛人咧喺玻利維亞或者係喺秘魯咧，呢個咧都冇辦法阻擋你嘅。
And here, my earlier what I said about like anicca, like impermanence, what you just said, it's just so good for love.
頭先我講到嗰個無常呢一個真相咧，對於呢個愛情嚟講咧，其實亦都係好有關係嘅。
If you are looking at your lover with this may be the last time you are looking at.
如果你係對住你個愛人，你望住佢嘅時候咧，你個心係諗住呢個可能係我最後一次望到佢啦。
I think you'll be more open-minded.
咁我相信咧，你會係更加有開放嘅態度。
I don't know, but you'll be more forgiving even if he have chewed a raw garlic.
即係咯，如果佢係啱係食過嗰啲蒜頭咧，你都會原諒佢嘅。
And because of this training, next day your lover is looking at someone else, you are already quite prepared.
所以你經由咁樣嘅訓練咧，就算明天咧你個愛人咧去睇其他嘅人咧，你都會可以接受到。
And because you are prepared and you are confident, he becomes little insecure.
咁因為你係已經準備好，而且你好有自信咧，咁反而咧你嗰個愛人咧佢會變得冇乜安全感咯。
This is the best way. This is the art of the game, isn't it?
呢個咧就係呢個遊戲嘅藝術啦，係咪
？It's really. I think this is. Basically, as long as there's an illusion of self and we are attached to this illusion of self, but there's always going to be this something called love.
基本上咧，我哋係有一個我呢個咁樣嘅幻想咧，同埋我哋係執住呢個對呢個幻想有所執着嘅話咧，就會有所謂嘅愛啦。
And then if it is coming towards you, let it come.
咁當個愛係嚟到嘅時候咧，就由得佢嚟咯。
And no need to be too worried about it.
唔使咁擔心嘅。
Because love is also it involves a lot of surrender.
咁而愛咧，其實咧亦都係好需要能夠係去一種嘅有一個犧牲自己嘅一個成分嘅。
And yeah, even though you love the most to somebody, I don't know, the complete surrender is difficult for human beings.
即係喺愛嚟講咧，即係對人類能夠要係完全咁樣去犧牲咧，係好難嘅。
Because you can always say, oh, I really love you and I surrender to you, but is he or she really doing this much? So there's all that kind of negotiation.
即係譬如話你係好愛一個人，你話我可以完全臣服於你或者為你犧牲嘅，咁但係咧你會諗對方會唔會對我同樣咁樣諗法咧？
So with this very auspicious word, love, we will conclude this time. I'm sorry it has been a bit too long.
咁喺呢個咁吉祥嘅一個詞語愛喺呢度咧，我哋就終結今晚嘅講座。
I pray and have aspiration that you will have lot of love.
我祈禱咧你哋會有好多嘅愛。
Don't forget us and come again to visit us. Thank you.